Today, I want to share with you the FMOON 12-inch pellet smoker tube. Now, this is it right here, and we have a very standard pellet smoker tube right here, which is great because these things just work well. Now, first, let's go ahead and break down what's included in the box. This is something new for me, and this is a tray. It's a holder tray. You can put the pellet tube in like this, or you can put the pellet tube standing up like this, and it catches all the ashes, which is really nice, especially in something like a pellet smoker where you don't want any ashes running around. If you can get rid of them, it makes your life a lot easier. Now, the tube also includes a cap here, and the cap has a little hanger hook. If you want to hang it inside your smoker, you can do that. You can also use the included hooks. Now, in one of my other pellet tubes, you could hang it by the hooks and put those and hang it inside the smoker also. And that's what I think that these two hooks are for. Also included is a glove. Now, this is a universal glove. It works for left or right. It has the grips on both sides. I've used it a couple of times, but on my first use, I actually used one of the gloves that I already had. This will make a nice little addition, and you can also use it for other things. Like, let's say you put cast iron in your smoker, you'll be able to easily grab that as long as you don't get it much above 500 degrees. Also, it includes a cleaning brush, and I'll show you that really quick. Basically, when it does start to get a little clogged up with some ashes, you'll just take your cleaning brush and rub it in there. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but it'll just run right in there and clean all those holes out. And then you can use it on the outside also, which will finish it off pretty well. Now, I have not used the cleaning brush at this point because I've only used this a few times. I did use it in the smoking cheese video, and I'll pop that link up right here. So if you want to go check out that cheese smoke with this Giant smoker, we can do that. Now, one of the things that I like about this tray here is that it fits inside of the smoker really well, just like this. So we can set that in there, and then we can set the tube in there once it's all lit. Also, we can light it inside there with this tray because it'll keep it lifted up. I'm going to go ahead and run a small demo clip of me doing that. I'm not going to do it right this second, but it makes it really easy to light. And also, if all you're doing is something like smoking cheese or putting a pre-smoke on something, then it keeps all of the mess out of your smoker. So when you're ready to go ahead and add charcoal or whatever your fuel is, you're good to go. Now, another thing about this that I really like is it is a very solid, heavy construction. And that's really nice. The metal is not weak, and I'm squeezing on it here. It's not just bending. So first question that I want to answer is, what kind of smoker will this work in? Well, it will work in just about any smoker that has the room to fit it. But in my experience, these tubes work the best in pellet smokers. Pellet smokers can always use just a little bit of a boost of smoke, and the tubes tend to work really well directly on the grate. Previously, I was using a rock or something to keep it slightly tilted so that way the pellets didn't move away and stop their burning sequence. But I'm going to give it a try just like this on my pellet smoker and see if it'll work. I'm going to go ahead and pop a video up here of it in the pellet smoker smoking, and you'll see how that works out. I know how it's going to work because I've already tested this thing like 4 or 5 different times in different applications. I just haven't used it in the pellet smoker yet. It will definitely also work in a gas grill, which is another thing that I love to do. Is I like to put some of my meat up on the top shelf and put the grill on a really low setting and then set these in the bottom. How long will this actually run? Well, the manufacturer says that it's about 5 hours, but I got to tell you that does depend a lot on your pellets. More heavy, dense pellets will burn a little bit slower, and lighter and, I don't know how to describe it, but pellets that are not compressed as much tend to burn a little bit faster. So it really depends on the brand of pellet that you use. But I would say that you could easily count on about 6 hours out of this thing if you fill it good and light it and place it in there as soon as possible and get your food in there as soon as possible. As soon as it's going good, 6 hours, totally full for me. So the next question is, what kind of foods can I use to smoke with this? Well, you can use anything that you want to add an extra punch of smoke. I recommend anything that's really mellow, like fish or something, that you probably don't want to use this for a regular dinner smoke, but everything else would be really good, especially things like cheese and nuts and jerky, which I really like to add a punch of extra smoke. I won't run 5 to 6 hours of smoke on there. I'll probably only run 1 or 2 hours, but you can put this in and then pull it out when you're happy with the smoke results. So there's many ways to light this thing, and my favorite way is just with a blowtorch. But another thing that you can do is you can fill it up to where it's almost full, place a haystack lighter in, and then put about a tablespoon of pellets on top of that. So what'll happen is you can just light it with a regular lighter and it'll get going. I'm gonna go ahead and run a clip of that and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, but it's gonna be laid down. So you'll light that up and it'll just get going. My favorite way is to use a blowtorch or a brûlée torch, and otherwise known as a kitchen torch, that works really good for getting these things going. You only have to hit it for a minute. Once it's lit and good, then you're good to go. Many people ask what kind of wood pellets to use with this. Well, really, you can use whatever you like. Recently, I've been using a lot of the Kona, but I've also used Smokehouse Products wood pellets for years, and I happen to have some of those right here. In today's demo videos, that's what we'll be using, is what's in here. So those videos will be made with that. But in my last video where I did the cheese, I used the apple Kona wood, and I was very happy with the flavoring. So that is something that you really have to go with what you like. I also think that if you're using something in a pellet smoker that you're really happy with, continue to use that. You don't need to buy 20 different types. Use what you like and use the flavors that you like. People ask a lot, can you control the amount of smoke that comes out of these? Typically the answer for that is no. Once you get a good light on it, it has to just burn through at whatever speed. Now you can light it a little bit less at the beginning, but what will happen is that it will get to whatever its burning speed is, and that's the amount of smoke that it will release. You don't want to underlight these, because once you close the lids on your smoker, typically the amount of oxygen will be reduced, and if they're underlit, they can go out. So you want them to smoke at full power and let them go. Now, the best solution is, if you want less smoke, just pull them out a little early and then continue with your regular cooking process. So when you're done with this and you want to put the pellets out, there's really one good way to do that, and that's just to pour it out on a flat surface. I like to use a cookie sheet. So I will pour it out across the cookie sheet really quickly, and then what happens is I can push the lit pellets off to the side and harvest the unburned pellets for future use. Now again, pellets are not expensive, so I typically don't do that. I typically just set it to the side and let it burn out, and then the next time start with more pellets. There's no reason to worry too much about something that costs so little. Now, when this thing is burning, it will get hot. The question is, how hot? I don't know exactly what that temperature is, but I can tell you that if you try to grab it anywhere near where the coals are, you will get burned. But with the glove, I have grabbed these things out many times and had no issues whatsoever. So typically I was using a Weber hot glove, but these things here are almost exactly the same thickness and with more of the grip things on there than the Weber has. So I don't see why that would be any bit of an issue at all. But do use care and try to avoid wherever you see the red charcoals of the burning pellets. So my final question to answer, is it difficult to clean? Well, you saw me do the demo with the brush, and really I hardly ever do that, but these brushes go right across it, no problem. And then you can also brush it from the outside with a standard grill brush if you want. But the basics of it is they're really easy to clean, and a lot of the times you can just tap it a little bit and it'll come completely clean. I usually do that on a rock and not my metal table, but if you just tap it and you see that all the holes are clear, you're good to go. These things are really good about not getting too messy or too dirty. Once the pellets completely burn, they just go completely to ash, and so you have no issues. And I want to mention one thing. I ordered this and purchased it with my own money, and then I reached out to the company and talked to them. After I talked to them, they offered to send me a free sample. Here is the free sample right here. So they did provide one, but this one that I did all my testing on is a product that I actually paid for. I appreciate FMOON for sending me this, and I will donate it to a local charity organization so that way this free sample doesn't go to waste. So thanks for watching and have a great day.